Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Mike. We continue our discussion on management of diabetes in pregnancy, clinical update. Today's topic is epidemiology of gestational diabetes mellitus. Gestational diabetes mellitus or GDM occurs in about 5% of pregnancies. However, figures vary considerably depending upon the criteria used and demographics characteristic of the population. The prevalence of GDM varies from 1 to 20%. It is rising worldwide, parallel to the increment in the prevalence of obesity and type 2 diabetes mellitus, or T2DM. Recently, the prevalence of GDM has increased by 2 to 3-fold, ranging from 8.9 to 53.4%. This is mainly due to the adoption of the new criteria proposed by the International Association of Diabetes and Pregnancy Study Group, or IADPSG, on screening and diagnosis of GDM. The IADPSG recommends universal screening for GDM. It requires one single glucose value above the cutoff value instead of two during the oral glucose tolerance test, or OGTT, for diagnosis. GDM is associated with adverse maternal and neonatal sequelae. Hyperglycemia and Adverse Pregnancy Outcome Study, or HAPO, is a large-scale, with 25,000 pregnant women, multinational epidemiology study. It found significant associations between adverse pregnancy outcomes and higher levels of maternal glucose, with no defined levels after which the risk increases. Furthermore, the Australian Carbohydrate Intolerance Study, or ACHOIS, in pregnant women, and the U.S. Multicenter Randomized Trial of Treatment for Mild Gestational Diabetes studies indicated that maternal hyperglycemia that does not meet diagnostic criteria for overt diabetes still has a correlation with perinatal disorders and problems. The association suggested a need to reevaluate the standard criteria for diagnosing and treating hyperglycemia in pregnancy. The goal of this course is to discuss the latest update in the diagnosis and the management of GDM. Pregnancies affected by GDM impose a risk for both mother and child. The risk of cesarean and operational vaginal delivery, macrosomia, shoulder dystocia, neonatal hypoglycemia, and hyperbilirubinemia is increased. Women with a history of GDM are also at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the years following their pregnancy. Their children also have a high risk of developing obesity and type 2 diabetes mellitus early in life. It is problematic to determine the true prevalence of GDM. Diagnostic criteria for GDM have varied widely by geography and over time. Prevalence varies worldwide and even within a country's population, depending on the racial and ethnic composition of the residents. Accordingly, in the United States, the prevalence is higher among African Americans, Hispanic American, Native American, Pacific Islanders, and South or East Asian women than in Caucasian women. Furthermore, the prevalence of GDM differs depending on the variety of screening strategies, universal or selective, diagnostic criteria, and the prevalence of type 2 diabetes mellitus in any specific country. While data from Western countries are frequently reported, data from developing countries are sparse. Recently, Jiwani et al. And Macaulay et al. Tried to determine the prevalence of GDM worldwide, including developing countries. The prevalence was found to be ranging from less than 5% in countries such as Pakistan, Belgium, Denmark, Estonia, Ireland, South Korea, South Africa, United Kingdom, to less than 10% in Italy, Turkey, Brazil, United States, Morocco, and Australia, to prevalence as high as 20% in Bermuda and Nepal. A recent report from the International Diabetes Federation estimated that worldwide, 16% of live births in 2013 were complicated by hyperglycemia during pregnancy. It's more likely that the prevalence of GDM would increase due to the increase in risk factors like obesity and physical inactivity. This ends our discussion of epidemiology of GDM. See you next time when we discuss the classification, screening, and diagnosis of gestational diabetes mellitus.